right off the bat, I just want to talk about Halloween. And, about a month ago, I noticed that all the stores, Walmart and Target and Kmart, all the little temporary Halloween stores started popping up, and everybody's selling the Halloween costumes. And, of course, they sell, costumes for adults now, and Halloween parties are fun. I mean, it's fun to dress up like a pirate or, a robot or, something like that. And, I noticed that a lot of these temporary stores have popped up, and, with adults having these costume parties, not a problem. I don't know, maybe it's just a sign that I'm getting old, and this is where I want your opinion. 945-9292, 1-800-518-9292, pound 927. That's a free call courtesy of Verizon Wireless and Atlantic Cellular, your authorized Verizon Wireless dealer. Maybe you can tell me if I'm just turning into an old curmudgeon, but the last few years, I've actually left home on Halloween night. So, and it's not it's not because I'm too cheap to give away candy for kids. This year, I work at a radio station. I don't have money to spend on $30, $40 worth of candy for kids, but that's beside the point. It's not really the point of the candy being so darn expensive these days. And kids expect full-size bars now. I never got full-size bars. I was lucky if I got an apple without a razor blade in it. But it's not quite as bad down here. I haven't had a Halloween, in my new home yet. So I don't know. I think it would probably not be as bad as when I lived in Wilmington. When I lived in Wilmington, I lived in kind of a bad area. And the kids were rude. Sometimes it would just be adults. Adults would show up at my door, knock on the door. It usually be, 25-year-olds with bags. Trick or treat. What am I supposed to give a 25-year-old candy? And of course, they look like they're going to shoot you if you don't. So you give them their Snickers bar or their Kit Kat. I like giving away candy bars. I don't give away like M&Ms or Skittles or anything like that. I like candy bars. Butterfingers. Butterfingers always go over well. I don't know. Everybody likes Butterfinger. But and actually, when I was a kid, I liked Twizzlers. Anytime I would get a little pack of Twizzlers, like the strawberry flavored ones, that was like gold. I would trade away candy bars for Twizzlers. So maybe maybe you have a favorite Halloween candy you want to talk about. 945-9292, 1-800-518-9292 outside of Delaware, and pound 927 on Verizon Wireless. That's a free call courtesy of Verizon and Atlantic Cellular, your authorized Verizon dealer. So, yeah, I like the idea of the kids getting dressed up and having fun, but it's turned into something else. And, the kids now, it's almost turned into how much loot can you get, and the parents are part of it now. And it used to be, I know times are different and things aren't, as safe as they used to be. But when I was a kid, once I got to be, I don't know, maybe 9 or 10 years old, the parents wouldn't go along, or they would like stand at the end of the block and let you go up the block, with your bunch of friends. You'd get 4 or 5 friends. You'd go to each door together. So, you're not going to get abducted or anything. You have power in numbers. Plus, there's a parent, maybe 100 feet away. They don't stand there at the door with you holding the bag. I've seen some of these kids so lazy, they have their parents holding the bag for them. And when they get home, the parents are going to dig out all the best candy. And I just think the parents have ruined what used to be a fun holiday. And it's a shame. And, they got especially when I have lived in nicer neighborhoods, the parents from the not so good neighborhoods would load up a whole van load of kids and come and drop them off in the nice neighborhood. And I've never seen these kids before. Where are they coming from? And maybe that's one of the advantages of living in the bad neighborhood. Like when I lived in Wilmington, I didn't have that problem, and no imported kids. But I don't know. Does that make me a bad person? I don't know. 945-9292, 1-800-518-9292, pound 927. That's a free call, courtesy of Verizon Wireless and Atlantic Cellular, your authorized Verizon dealer. And just on the flip side of it, I actually have no problem at all with adults dressing up in costumes, having costume parties. I haven't done one myself in many years, but I always dressed up as a gangster because everybody has a suit laying around. You get a plastic Tommy gun, you're a gangster. Maybe get a little fedora, put it on your head, and I need to find one that's big enough for my huge skull. But once I find that, I got the perfect gangster costume. And every year I was a gangster. But no Halloween parties this year. I mean, I might actually end up being here at the station, so you never know. If that's the case, I'll dress up and turn on Jared's webcam so you can see me. So we'll still take some calls on that if you have any comments. We're going to go into got a few stories about the NFL since it is Sunday. I would be remiss in not talking about the NFL, especially since, like last week, I wasn't on Jared's show since he had a remote, and didn't get to give my NFL picks. We'll go through, since the first half of the games are already going on, I'm going to keep my picks the same, so you'll see. I'm probably half of them wrong already, but let's take a call. And
hey, Don.
Looks like David from Georgetown. How you doing today?
Okay, Don. How you doing?
Oh, not bad, not bad.
Okay, I just wanted to mention a couple of traditions that my wife and I had in Maryland when the kids were little. We always used to feed them a very good meal several hours before they used to go out to trick-or-treat. And the meal was scrambled eggs, an orange, and maybe a little glass of milk before they went out trick-or-treating, because we knew that when they came back, they wanted to eat the candy. And then when the kids came back, they always used to love to sit around the dining room table and sort out their candies. Chocolates, chewables, suckables, like lollipops and sweet tarts and things like that. And, of course, the adults, my wife and I, would always take the good ones sometimes. But that's just two traditions, the scrambled eggs and orange slices. And then when the kids would come back, they would sort out their candies, and they loved that.
Oh, yeah. I think that's a great idea, the meal beforehand. And
yep.
and breakfast for dinner is always a good idea. I don't care what it is. Breakfast for dinner, I could eat breakfast 3 meals a day.
Yep.
And, yeah, that's a good idea. So when they get back, they don't gorge themselves on chocolate and get sick.
Yeah.
It's almost the same concept as not going to the grocery store with an empty stomach.
That's right. And I remember when I was a child, many, many, many years ago, in maybe first or second grade or third grade, whatever it was, I used to dress up as Humpty Dumpty. Remember Humpty Dumpty?
Oh, absolutely.
With a yellow and red and orange outfit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, thank you, Don.
Oh, thank you, David, and have a happy Halloween. If I don't,
you too. Bye.
And I mean that's actually a really good idea. I mean, my kid's too old to trick or treat now. I mean, she still dresses up for Halloween, but she's too old to trick or treat. So, I mean that's a really good idea. And the other thing that David brought up, that at least what I used to do when I was a kid with my friends, is we'd separate all the candies, and then if I had something that I liked and my brother had something that he didn't like, we could trade back and forth, and we had almost our own little free market economy running without any help from parents or government or anything like that. We had our own free market economy. Everybody was happy at the end, and it was just fun times. And I think the fun's been taken out of Halloween. It's kind of a shame. Let's go back to the phones. And hello, you're on WGMD.
Yeah, the interesting thing about Halloween is where the name came from. It's the day before, the evening before All Saints' Day, which is November the 1st. And Halloween, the word Halloween comes from All Hallowed Evening, or the evening before the holy day, and the holy day is All Saints' Day, which is November the 1st. So it's the Hallowed Eve, or the Hallowed Evening.
Oh yeah. Originally, All Saints' Day was the more important holiday, and it just kind of shifted towards how things shift towards a more secular thing. I mean, Halloween, originally wasn't the important day, but I guess it just shifted to that way over time.
And it's a shame that that's what's happened. But a friend of mine can't make a meeting on November the 1st, a pretty important meeting, because she's in the choir, and she's going to a service for All Saints Day, and that's tremendously important to her, and I recognize that completely. But boy, I wonder how many people are skipping important things so that they can go out trick or treat.
Yeah. I mean, and these days, a lot of times, a lot of towns will actually have the trick or treat on different days than the 31st now, especially if the 31st falls during the week. They might have it, the Friday or Saturday before, or maybe 1 or 2 days before, just in case, because the town wants to, I guess the town wants it all to happen at one time, so they can kind of keep an eye on the kids, and that's why they do it. From 6 to 8 p.m.
I used to work as a doorman at a nightclub, and they used to have Halloween parties there. And adults would come in, and they would be all dressed up, trying to win prizes, best costume. And it never ceased to amaze me that it seemed like a good excuse for grown people to dress up as complete idiots. And they had a lot of fun out of it. Some of the women would dress up in some of the most provocative clothing, which was fun for them, I guess. But
oh yeah,
it is a fun night for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, adult Halloween has always been the excuse for women to wear skimpy clothing and women that wouldn't normally otherwise wear it. Otherwise, shy or shy women actually end up wearing these skimpy things. They'll wear bikinis and everything else that they wouldn't even wear a bikini to the beach.
And you're right. And some women are wearing stuff that they probably shouldn't wear. Not only would they never wear it, but they shouldn't wear it.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, as long as they're having fun and not hurting anybody, I guess it's
Everything goes in America these days. That's for sure.
Yeah. As long as the kids don't start dressing that way, then we got a problem.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thanks.
Good show.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for your call. Thank you. And with that, we're going to take a short break. Got a few important messages. We'll come back. We can keep talking about Halloween. I'll get into a little bit of the NFL, kind of read some scores for you, keep you up to date on those. But any more Halloween calls are always welcome. And let's see what we got here.
Scary monsters, super freaks.
Scary monsters, super freaks. We'll be back right after this. 92.7 WGMD, the talk of Delmarva. I am Don Carpenter, filling in for Steve Bryant. He'll be back next week, just having a little technical problems down there in Nashville. He's just fine. And we're talking about Halloween, and I actually started off with a question whether I'm a bad person because I basically run away from the kids on Halloween now. Because I just think they've turned into rude, sniveling, little entitled punks. And I'm sure this year I'm probably going to get toilet papered and egg thrown at my house and everything else. It's never happened before, but I kind of have a feeling it's going to happen this year. Usually I go out and have a nice dinner that night, or go out and see friends and do adult things. My kid lives with my ex-wife, and she's also too old to trick or treat, so it's my time in that is past. I've even done the thing where you take the big bowl and just fill it with candy and put it outside, and it lasts 10 minutes. One kid comes along and dumps the whole thing in his bag, and it's kind of ruins it for everybody, and that kind of turned me off to everything as far as kids trick or treating. But I do still support adult, not trick-or-treating, but adult costumes and costume parties. I think that can still be fun, as long as it's, done in a tasteful way, I guess. As long as everybody's having fun. I see, I don't see people that spend tons of money on elaborate costumes. But during the break, I actually found the top 5 most wanted men's and women's costumes. And this is for 2011, so this is up to date. This is this year's top 10 most wanted costumes, broken up by men and women. First, we'll do the men's first. Number 5 is the Genie in the Lamp, and it's we'll just say it's an adult costume, and we'll leave it at that. You can get the picture in your mind. Although I will say, I don't know why he's wearing a leprechaun hat, but he's wearing a leprechaun hat. Number 4, Edward Scissorhands. Okay, from the movie, Johnny Depp with the big scissors on his hands. That seems like that would be a very elaborate costume, because he had like white pancake makeup, and he had these giant scissors on his hands. I mean, I guess the plastic scissors are probably a glove that you can put on, but the white pancake makeup, it was really thick. It would take a while, and my skin would just, I can't even imagine. It'd take me a month to get over that. Number 2, here's what the blogger that wrote this article says. It takes a braver man than me to even consider wearing this costume, yet it's fun, and you get some funny looks all night. Count Dracula, but here's the twist on it. Count Dracula has his victim with him, and his victim is an inflatable person. One of those inflatable people. Sometimes people use these inflatable women to get in the carpool lane. That's the best use for those things, really. Carpool lane, they're great for that. So yeah, I guess Dracula with his victim is number 2 this year, and number 1 is Krusty the Clown. Krusty the Clown's number. I mean, this is it says 2011. You think it would be like 1993? Krusty the Clown being number 1. I don't know where this guy's getting his numbers, but Krusty the Clown. And there's a picture of it, and it's a Krusty outfit. The guy's wearing blue jeans, purple shirt with a yellow undershirt, and a huge, ugly Krusty mask. Okay, the Dracula. Okay. And Hippie Dude was number 3. I don't know how I skipped that. Number 5 on the most wanted ladies' costumes is the Gothic Nymph. It's just a girl in a black mini dress with fairy wings. Number 4 is, let's see here, Batgirl. Okay, that makes sense. I don't know why Batgirl. I mean, I don't think there was a movie with Batgirl this year. Number 3, Race Car Girl. Just a skin tight bodysuit with low cut. Number 2, Twister set. I don't know if I'd want to be the Twister board. Just people getting on top of me and like sticking their elbows and knees, and it'd be painful. But the costume itself is actually just a little skirt or a little dress, like a knee-length dress, made of a Twister board with a little spinner thing stuck to her head. And number 1 is the Black Cat, which is just a skin-tight bodysuit and ears. So, anybody out there going to any Halloween parties and want to share any unique ideas for adult costumes, not kid costumes, adult costumes, 945-9292, 1-800-518-9292, pound 927. A free call, courtesy of Verizon Wireless and Atlantic Cellular, your authorized Verizon Wireless dealer. With that, we're going to take another short break for Fox News, the marine weather, AccuWeather. We'll be back right after this with more Halloween, and I will get to my NFL picks and an NFL update. So stay right there.